Well, hello again, everybody. This is Rob Godlewski. I'm the podcast host today for the Think Small podcast. And today our guest is Ayla Annac, the co-founder and CEO of Invivo Sciences. Welcome, Ayla.
Thank you, Rob, for your invite and also opportunity to be able to discuss and participate to your podcast. Thanks.
Of course, it's going to be a great conversation. So let's just go ahead and jump in and get started. Tell us how you came to be a co-founder of Invivo Sciences, and tell us about that journey, and then tell us a little bit about the business itself.
Very interesting one for myself. It's a mission. I lost my father age at 53 years old in Istanbul, Turkey, long years ago. When I took him to the hospital for a doctor visit, I was with him. The doctor said there was no technologies available for his heart and he needs a heart transplant and not many available. And that many years passed and there was no drug. And there is still the same industrial state for heart failure. Is a very difficult area. Innovation is lacking. Funding is severely lacking. Only 3% of the total funds went into precision medicine development into heart failure or cardiometabolic diseases in the United States and globally in the major countries like Europe or Japan. Despite the fact cancer precision medicine has developed significantly and funding is proportionately enormously 80%. So you can see there is a big imbalance and a lack of innovation and advancement in this field. So my father's death was the propelling the force for me to be able to do something about it because I didn't want other people to face what I have faced at a very young age. And I wanted to be able to be a force to contribute. Of course, it took some more time to meet with my team mates, which is other co-founders, Dr. Wakasuki and Dr. Elliot Elson. And they were in St. Louis. This all meeting happened in St. Louis, Missouri. And Dr. Elson and Dr. Wakasuki are from Washington University Medical School from St. Louis. And at that time, I was working for St. Louis Corporation. And we met and they wanted some help to be able to identify if their innovation, at that time three-dimensional cardiomyocytes, will make any difference in the heart failure drug development and precision medicine because they could actually take your blood or urine sample, which is a stem cell technology, and create your heart outside in a miniature form, and they could put them together to the 96 valve or even higher format of an assays, and they could automate that. So that is their technical the innovation, and that was patented by Washington University, St. Louis that time. And I was the one that actually led it as a co-founder because I believe that this group of brilliant scientists very long years ago, 2001, or even their science was behind the 2001 because I formed the company in 2001, was already an advance, but advanced for their time. So currently, I will just go ahead of time and saying that I am a CEO, a co-founder of a company called Invivo Sciences, as you mentioned. It's a preclinical stage precision therapeutic company for heart failure and cardiometabolic diseases. And this company has two very large technology arm that is enabling precision medicine. One side is they are able to actually take a blood or urine sample and create your heart tissue outside of your body. That means that they could go to a patient group that is targeted to develop a drug, particular drug for heart failure, and they could create a disease model of that group. And the other arm of the technology is they also integrated AI, artificial intelligence, to be able to select the subpopulations. We call it clinical enrichment, subpopulations of a group of heart failure that the drug at hand is the most effective. That way we can increase the success rate and cheaper clinical trials are possible because currently in the traditional method of heart failure drug development is recruiting very large populations, very expensive. And because there is no enrichment or there is no match for or subpopulation identification, the trial fails at the phase 3, which is a very expensive trial. Failing stage cost a lot, and investors shies away, say they don't want to invest. So that is the past, but the new technologies change this dynamic of expensive heart failure trials. It could be smaller now because of the technologies available, and also you can develop the drugs for the subpopulations. That means if you have a fibrosis on your heart and you have a heart failure, you can address the fibrosis on your heart, and that drug can affect and regress the fibrosis. This is a very layman version of it. But how we started was we started with three-dimensional cardiomyocyte, which is a tissue development at the time I started. And we wanted to look into how we could imitate a biological form of heart outside, so the drugs can be tested and
Hmm.
developed, and cardiotoxicity of a drug can be identified, and that was in a tissue structure, and how we can automate that. So the thought process came in the beginning. Yes, we can create that, how we can automate it, how we can do it in a much larger volume, and how we can actually go direct patients, which is a human testing rather than animal testing on the drug development. And it was the very, very early stages of thought forms and patenting form. St. Louis University, I'm sorry, St. Louis, Washington University Medical School was very effective on helping us to help patent, and also help the formation of the initial company thought from, which is Invivo Sciences. And I think the medical college helped, but also business school of Washington University helped, because I had to won a business competition to put together the startup. And I was a student at St. Louis University, and I went through the entrepreneurship class that time while I was a corporate officer in the corporation. And I actually build the business form or idea in that classes and in that competition, get more validation. And then we went to the medical school and asked that we wanted to do this. Will you help us to, get the license? And I think that was the process that we went, but it was just a start. The funding of that, proving the concept, creating the products, creating the services, cash flowing it, and also going to the pharmaceutical companies ahead of the time. And then they keep saying, oh no, this is a ahead of the time project. That time was a challenge, because then right now it is not ahead of time. But what is currently is important, that funding for heart failure or precision medicine is behind the time. The time is
Hmm.
now because it's the number one killer. It is highest number of people are dying from heart failure and heart attacks, not from cancer. And when you have a cancer, your heart is also weakening, and that is also causing a heart attack. So people doesn't make the association, but when your heart stop, because you won't be living anymore, and there is no solution for that. So that is I think, um, a journey that I took. Many years, many expertise that come together, many collaborations. We were very effective with collaborating with number of people, but my passion behind to find a solution, to be a solution to the problem, and that was, I think, the force and what we have been working on.
That's just an incredible story, not only from the beginnings of coming, building a business out of a very personal mission, if you will, to almost honor your father after passing away prematurely, and finding a cure for what caused his death. But I'm still baffled, and I have a sense of wonderment about the science that you're talking about. You're literally taking tissues from um, a human, either blood or
Blood,
urine
blood,
sample,
skin, or urine sample, yes. The stem
and
cell technology.
yeah, and recreating it so that testing can be done on that new heart tissue.
Correct.
That's just amazing. And
So
founding the business essentially out of an MBA course competition is even more inspiring, I would think.
well,
You
I
know,
think
lots
they
of
were funding, providing small amount of funds, and it was any money, any cash flow was helpful because uh,
sure,
you leave your full-time corporate job to jump on this and fund with your own money. Something like that. All
yeah,
co-founders in the beginning fund everything about this company, and
right,
I think there was university contributions as well, and that was very important. And now we have to receive, American Heart Association grant and also NIH grants, and that is very, very instrumental because you're building a prototype, validating, and then you go to the customers and validating. But building a company without a venture capital available or a corporate partner available in the beginning is extremely difficult. Like you have a candle in your hand and walking in a dark cave and trying to
yeah,
figure out your path and trying to persuade people that what you have is a future idea, future. This is gonna be happening. This is gonna be solution. While people saying to you, you're ahead of time. And I was like, what can I do? I'm bringing to you the light here, so can you help? And they said, well, show me first. Show me if it
sure,
works. And that show me part is scientifically is a very long path. And I think as a corporate knowledge, which I am very well trained in cash flow and finance or product development, 18 to 12 months cycles, and then they are trying to shorten that even like to 8 months so that they can go into the market quicker. It's a machine. But to do that scientifically on a concept that is not there in a future concept and technology development, you cannot force things to 8 months because you can make errors or it will come out later. You will raise lots of money, but then it will fumble and nobody will
right.
be happy about it. So that is why I think going grounded, proving it, and getting validations is a long path. Not many wants to take, and not many wants to be there because it is, not rewarding in the beginning and the long years. And but someone has to do it. If we don't do it, if we don't have expertise, and many experts work on this, if we don't
Hmm.
have those people willing to open the door, give something for their, they may not do everything, but they help something, they advise something, they encourage at the time. The schools, universities putting these competitions they encourage people to jump on a risk, which is very risky, and then to stay on and consistently is the key to really develop things. And that is why I think if I can inspire one or two souls, younger souls is good too, but the experts are important around the younger soul because we are blind. At that time, you are blind, you're excited, you can do it. When you go into the challenge and when the doors slam on your face, you feel like, what did I do wrong here? Why can I not help? Where's the mentors? Where are the investors in my board? So there are many things I learned on the path, what you can do it
Hmm.
better in the beginning, but you need that little blindness to take the risk because if you know all the risk, you may not want to do that. You may not want to risk your life, but still, it's so important. You have to have something in your heart that you believe strongly that you can make that difference with the expertise around you. So I think um, if I am still here, I can say that there are certain mysterious things or a divine help that from the higher sources that showed up that help come. So I didn't give up because you could give up at many points, many rejection points, and I'm glad that I didn't. But I can tell you this is not an easy path with a faint heart to take. So it's the difficult part, yes.
Yeah, no, for sure. So you've led along with your partners, you've led this business for over 25 years now.
Yes.
And certainly there are ebbs and flows and ups and downs to any business. But let's talk about maybe a time when you were faced with really severe challenges. Your the progress, wasn't being seen by the marketplace or by your investors. Tell me about that time when you had to balance and navigate your business through those challenging times.
So I think vision is important. Being a leader, you have to have a torch and a passion for and belief system, because everybody can jump out from the board. You're a captain of the ship. You cannot do that before you secure the ship. So sometimes that concept can be understood, or an army general, that if you take that war as if you are the leading person, you cannot leave your troop to be died and then you run away. You cannot do that. So you have to hold people together. That
Yeah.
that concepts will get you the idea about how difficult this could be. The cash flow is the very interesting and very important part for a startup. You need to manage your cash flow. You need to know your budget. You need to also make lots of assumptions, scenarios. If this goes wrong, if this goes wrong, and assume everything will go wrong, and it did go wrong. So it did go wrong means that things takes longer and the negotiations takes longer. Pharmaceutical company knows you're a small company. You have a good technology in your hand, and they are, if you are small and if you don't represent it by big forces, they want to take it to the right. And 18 months to 24 months, they can negotiate and learn. And that is why you need to learn, and you have to have a legal representation, patent positions, and everything else. So cash flow and how to manage that cash flow, where to spend, where not to spend, and do it with less. And we had to persevere with doing with less, which means if you have $100,000 funding, you know that that needs to last not years, 2 years or 2.5 years, which is incredibly less money to do that. And how to do that creatively, you have to come up with the in-kind structures. That means you have to collaborate. You have to know how to
Mm,
collaborate and where to protect your assets and others' assets. And you have to be fair and persistent in the collaboration. And maybe that is not for everybody's ball game, because people expect cash flow and balance sheets. But when you get in kinds, expertise comes in, people's comes contribute, but they may not be cash. They might be a different value, but it is very important for startups to have that value. And later on, you need to be loyal to that individuals or groups that helped you, and to create an equity structure in the company that is going to be part of the company corporation. So you need to learn the tools to
mm,
compensate, or tools to keep people in the same place, and then reward them if when the time comes. You cannot be just the one that getting all the rewards, because it is something that all team did, and they stay together. They help on those core team are the ones that has to be the one that benefits, if there will be some benefits, or they need to be informed what is going on. And because they stays a very long years, and as you can see, 2001 we formed, and many people
sure.
helped, but the core team is the one that stayed together. As I said, cash flow is important, and when to go raise, you raise constantly. You don't stop raising, and you raise from many different sources, alternative sources, could be grants, could be customers. Customers is important. You
Mm,
give something valuable, and they access to an SA, they get a value, they pay you for something that they will get maybe more value than they are paying you. In the beginning, it's always the case. And pharma wants to pay you something, but the payment is 1/10 of what you should be valued for. And
right.
sometimes you take the hit, so that the validation is just the record in your resume that you have this person or this person utilize your access, because that is important for the marketplace. And you happen to learn that people give importance to who you work for, who is in your team, which is your team names, than who you are, what you're doing, how hard you work, and what kind of a patent position you have. And they want to discount all those things. So And these are the market structures you have to respect. So learning on the way is important and keep improving is important. And each money that you raise has to go to the building value. And the
Hmm.
value is not a company building, an asset building. Asset that valued by the company and patent position. The product that could be sellable. The service that is valued and you can get a cash. So bootstrapping. So when you don't have an investor in the beginning, you have to bootstrap. So you have to create small, valuable products, sell something, and they pay you
Hmm.
something. And you may lose value a lot in the beginning, but if you don't do selling structures that could be sellable, then it is a long wait times. You cannot survive. So we keep doing that and grant positions any kind of applications that we have done, small amount come. And the sacrifice comes, people are thinking that co-founders paid a lot of money and they don't. They work for sweat equity and they,
Yeah.
in the beginning, they don't get anything. And all this core team work for nothing. And that is why it is an important thing to understand. Either the people this has to be crazy or they do a public service, right? That is that they are doing, and it
Hmm.
has to be in a different way recognized because the recognition is not there either. People will not clap you. They will not say, "Oh, great thing that you did." But at the end, when things come together, when they see the value you add, then they say, "That is an interesting. How how long it took to get there." These are the sacrifices, significant sacrifices has been done when you're building a company. So I can say that, you may not be in the payroll very long years and you may be paid with the shares. When the payment comes, when some kind of a customer relationship happens, then the small payments may come. They cover expenses. You may work for others, consult for others while you're building your main company. So that is I think, the honest structure of it that people shouldn't expect that I will be in a payroll when I am a startup. They may, if they have a good venture capital, and I think that might be faster, but sometimes science is not fast. To make some human heart is not fast. And I can tell you another one way comparison that this is a very difficult area because if there was pharma with all the resources and money, there should be precision drugs by now, a lot of it, just like the cancer field. If it is not about my ability or other people's ability, it is about that this is such a low funding area and very difficult, especially advanced heart failure and right heart area, heart failure, blood ejection area. There is no solution, no innovation, and people are dying. And it is a
Hmm.
extreme amount of taxpayer dollars. $300 billion by 2030 will be spent to this. So if there's a percentage of that to be put back to the innovation or current innovations to drug development with the to collaboration with the groups, I think the advancement will be fast enough. So not one person will make it, not one company will be making it. And there will be many will have to collaborate, come together, push, help. And if you have money, if you are a VC, you need to be a little bit more saying that how I can be in this one. Benefit, of course, profit and money, but control structure, but help to lead to how we can fund more of those companies out there that has no funding, nothing is coming in, and how we can lead to create the innovative drugs because technologies are here. Technology is already developed. There is no need for new platform technologies, but maybe pulling the techniques and tools together to come up with the more effective drugs that is the subpopulation determinations, just like we did in the cancer field. And now time
Hmm.
to, not for one drug for all of us, all the world. It is now for which subpopulations, which drug in the heart failure, why we have to differentiate the drugs and treatment for different groups of patients, and how we can do it fast because people are dying daily. and don't know that nothing will be developed if we don't have anything 5 to 10 years. Nothing, there's no solution for this one, and very painful death. And that is why I think, as I said, many sacrifices, lots of business tools, financial structures, fundraising skills, and network is
Mhm.
essential. But when someone begins in the beginning and they don't know anything about how this gonna be working, and they have this passion, um, that is what I call blind faith. You if you are starting that way, I think you need many good advisors around you so that you don't broke your own heart first, because this is not about an emotion. This is about a good structure, good planning, lots of expertise involvement. But you still need that force, because you don't need you because you can very experienced executives can quit when they don't see the money, when they don't see the any investment coming. Lots of no's. They hang out sometime, but they give up. They said, "Oh, I don't want to
Mhm.
waste my time for it." So that is why you need that leadership, because this kind of early technologies, which we spend a long time now, we are different stage. We are much easier stage, but there will be in the future things like this. You need some different personalities, skills, and determination for long-term development versus short-term development. And
Right.
corporations know that they have different SPU units, small business units. They have long curves. They allocate R&D for long-term, short-term, maybe 6 months to a year.
Okay. So you talk a lot about partnerships and mentorships and collaboration, and that seems to be a common thread in my conversations with CEOs for this podcast recently. And that it's not only, opening yourself up to realizing I don't have all the answers to every question I need to run this business. So I'm gonna reach out and find a mentor, find someone who can coach me. But you mentioned deeper than that. It's actually collaborating with other people in business to maybe ultimately find a better, bigger answer to the problem, or finding more business in a collaboration than you could have found by yourself. And I think that's a regardless of what type of business you're in, whether you're a startup medical solution or medical device company, or a home services company, you know, collaborating with other people to grow a bigger piece of the business is very sage advice, I would say.
Well, we don't have other choice because the area we are in a large investment requirement, and you have to be very precise with detailed science, and you have to bring a product that will be useful for a patient, and it's a 1 point $3 or $4 billion investment for a complete drug development. So you're in a big league. You need to collaborate. You need to bring the best
Yeah.
expertise in a focused area, and you have to solve unsolved and very big problem, costly problems, and still people couldn't figure out, like clinical trials. How could we make it less costly? How we can make it smaller trials and still effective drug can be developed, like cancer, and this is possible. Why not we do that? And what are the most costly patient group that doesn't have a drug? What is the area that a library of drugs can be repurposed, because we spend all these dollars to that? What can we use to repurpose? So it is not just I want to get the best and shiny thing, but how I can refurbish something, maybe relook differently with a collaboration, so that I don't duplicate the dollars. I don't keep doing internally the same thing already out there, but I use
Right.
something and then bring people together and create a fair structure so everyone is motivated. Nobody is afraid that if this small work with the large one, they will be swallowed. You have to create that structure or offer the structure so that you stay motivated. Otherwise, things turns into a little bit more control and a kind of power dynamic shift. The I don't want to lose my inner team's motivation because they work so
Hmm.
hard. They have to stay high force and high productivity. If they see that they are not, getting a fair treatment, people fall out, and that is why collaboration is very critical. But how to structure in a long time and keep communicating the needs of both teams and bringing the product. So that is mean the milestone, delivering the milestones with what you said you will do. And it is an important stage. So it is a very high management skill, financial skill, and that's why you need mentors, you need lawyers, you need different lawyers, structure lawyers, patent lawyers. You
Hmm.
need people who understand strategic collaboration lawyers. You always also need that if the product suddenly comes, because sometimes you're creating something and suddenly somebody, these are high PIs, very creative brains, they come up with an idea and that idea is useful, but nobody was thinking about that now. So you wanted to take that new thing that came and then put it in a different bucket so that you don't confuse people with the focus on a project. But there is another product idea there. Can be who can do anything on that one? Can we do
Right.
something on it? Can it be sellable? Can it bring a revenue? Low hanging fruit, but revenue. And so these things it has to be managed, and that is why I think you need a business sense. It cannot be science only at all, but you need savvy people who knows fundraising. That was one of the things I didn't have it in the beginning. You need corporate networks and strategic partnership. That is how to navigate in those partnerships. You need champions in those corporate. If you don't have a champion or champion suddenly gone, you start all over again, all the work gone. And that is why um, it is a magical world, moving parts, and you have to figure out how to do that. And that's why I think I consider mentorship collaborations, but the stability of the mentors is important, and their how they align with your vision. And you have to
Of
listen
course.
because they may not like your vision. They may say you have to change this. You have
Right.
to, you are short in here. And then question how we can strengthen here, what we can do more on the who
Hmm.
can we bring. And this is an important part. And I value the mentors that who helped and also mentors that I'm sure it will come immensely because without them, as I said, I have a candle in a dark cave. Keep on. Yeah.
I love your analogy about candle in a dark cave because whether you're in the health sciences world or any other business, I'm sure a lot of the business owners and CEOs of small businesses that are listening to this podcast, I'm sure uh, they can relate to that analogy of standing alone in a dark cave with a candle. I love that analogy, and you just need to look around the corner to find someone you can collaborate with, someone who can be a mentor, and you're right about keeping your ears open, right? God gave us two ears and one mouth for a reason, right?
Yeah.
so we can so we can listen twice as much as we talk.
And also we can learn all the time because I don't know definitely everything, and you learn new things and you learn new perspectives from the collaborators or
Hmm.
mentors or even venture capital comes and looks. I love the venture capital who comes, or angels or investors. It could be any form of investor, even school or university. They say to you that if you improve these three things, you are much more easy fundable. And then you said, oh, okay. And then you go back. That kind of investor is very valuable. And I wish that they are in the board sooner because when you have them, they also bring their network, but also they keep leading you with the like a target with their own experience. Otherwise, you have to figure out what they didn't like. They don't tell anything and they just say, no, we don't invest. It is like a dark box and you have no clue what is going
Right.
on. And that is why that how to find those investors are very valuable or people with really good experience, how to attract them and learn and listen and do it in a very time persevering manner because you don't have much time. You have to utilize your time well, and you have to be
Mhm.
valuing their time. You cannot waste their time, so they could keep coming back and working with you towards the best goal.
Right. So Ayla, tell me where the business stands today, and then where do you see the business in, say, a 3 to 5 year forward-looking time span?
Today is that we have a drug compound IVS-201 for heart failure preserved ejection fraction, and we have a platform already developed and funded, which is the precision medicine enabling. So this platform can be accessible. Our assays and disease models, which is the Concordia platform and New Heart, can be accessible by pharmaceutical companies or other collaborators who wants to create their own, drugs for different segments of the heart failure can utilize our platform to identify their target, to validate their target, or to develop their compounds, or we can enrich the clinical trials to bring the right patient groups for their specific target. So these are maybe contract service type of a model. But what we are at this time looking for, raising funding for to take the IVS 201 heart failure preserved ejection fraction compound to the clinical trials and the FDA meet, and there is a cost for that, and that cost has to be funded by a raise. It could be a collaborator coming in saying that, okay, I will, come in and then fund this one, but I want, access for my other drugs and then combine these things together. That is one way to do so. The other way is that the funder comes and we take it to the next stage and we have 18 months to do so from the investment that we received, and we like to start at 2026 for that. There's a patent behind this compound, and it will be an effective one, and it will be smaller clinical trial, so it will be less costly to develop this than if you are doing a new one drug for all approach. We don't use that approach. We are doing a precision medicine approach and proving it with our own drug that how it can be possible and a cheaper and very effective drug can become for a highly unmet and severely costly need. And rehospitalization is the highest in this form. Uh, but we are also receiving comments from other collaborators we have saying that we should look into and help in the advanced heart failure area. And we are open for looking how we could be useful, our platform, to the others' needs and the very, very difficult areas of heart failure that requires again a collaborative like hospital groups, MDs, and corporate maybe the coming in or the hospital corporations or philanthropic help to fund those projects. But I think that is the next step for us. So right now we have a compound and a funded platform already, but the compound still needs the funding to take it to the next stage of clinical trials and FDA trial in 2026. We foresee that in 18 months we will be able to came in, if we are lucky, phase 2 direct with a small trial, or we will go into the regular small and then also the second phase 1 and phase 2 trials.
Well, Ayla, we wish you all the best luck and success with those trials coming up. I know that's very important to the business. And again, I want to thank you so much for your time and your advice and your input into talking over with us with the Think Small podcast. We really value your time. It's been great, and thank you very much. Again, this is Ayla Annac. She's the co-founder and CEO of Invivo Sciences. based out of Madison, Wisconsin, and also a fellow St. Louis University Billiken. So I appreciate that connection as well.
It's my
Uh,
pleasure to be here, and I open to a collaboration. So I welcome anyone who wants to reach out and want to collaborate. Please do so. We are eager to form a collaboration or work with you.
well, that is the purpose of the Think Small podcast, is to make connections between business leaders. So, again, thank you for that offer. Thank you very much for your time, and have a wonderful day.
Thank you.